Welcome back to the Story Exposed YouTube channel. I was 21 and I still couldn't believe how surreal this birthday felt, the way the soft golden light of early evening poured into the kitchen and wrapped around her like it was made just for us, and there she was, my girlfriend, looking at me across the dining table with that familiar, adoring gaze that had made my heart race since the first time we met in high school. And it was just the two of us tonight, because my family had plans of their own, so she had taken it upon herself to make the day special, baking a chocolate cake with candles and preparing my favorite meal of chicken and enchiladas, filling the apartment with the kind of smells that reminded me of every cozy evening we had ever shared. And as I blew out the candles, I felt her hand brush mine across the table, soft and warm, her eyes sparkling with mischief and love. And I couldn't help but smile, because the way she looked at me made me feel like I was the only person in the world. She could see her brown hair falling in soft waves over her shoulders, her skin glowing under the dim lights, and even the small laugh that escaped her when I thanked her felt like music I had never heard before. A melody I wanted to play on repeat. And once we finished cleaning up the dishes together, our hands occasionally brushing, lingering in that unspoken tension that had always existed between us but never been crossed until now, I remembered that her high school cheerleading uniform was still somewhere in her closet from when she had been captain of the squad. And on a whim, with a teasing grin, I asked if she'd put it on just for me, expecting hesitation. But instead she laughed, a little uncertain, but agreeing, because she knew it was my birthday and she loved surprising me. And when she appeared in the doorway a few minutes later, the familiar colors of white, green, and gold hugging her figure, I couldn't believe how stunning she looked, how perfectly the uniform accentuated the curves I had always admired from afar, her slender legs, the pleated skirt, the fitted top, and the way she shifted nervously from one foot to the other, biting her lip, as if unsure how I would react. But all I could do was grin, my heart pounding, feeling an electric mix of awe, affection, and a desire to make the night unforgettable. And I complimented her, my words tumbling out in a rush of excitement, telling her she looked amazing, and she laughed softly, brushing her hair behind her ear, slightly embarrassed but clearly pleased. And I couldn't help but point to my own football jersey, still tight from the workouts I had kept up since high school, joking that together we made quite the team. Her, the sparkling cheerleader, me, the proud defender. And she rolled her eyes playfully, but her smile betrayed her enjoyment of my antics. And I suggested, on a sudden impulse, that we take the fun outside, maybe to the drive-in like old times, imagining the two of us sneaking into the back of the car, the night air cool on our faces, the smell of popcorn and soda, and the thrill of doing something slightly mischievous yet completely innocent. And she raised an eyebrow, pretending skepticism, but I could see the excitement flickering behind her eyes. And as we walked to the garage together, I opened the door for her, holding my hand out in a playful, exaggeratedly chivalrous gesture. And she laughed, accepting it, and the entire ride felt like a mix of nostalgia and new memories being created. The small sedan rattling along the empty streets, the sun dipping below the horizon, casting long shadows that danced across her face as she chatted lightly about the workday. And when we finally arrived at the drive-in, the sky dark and sprinkled with stars, we barely made it to the parking spot before the previews began. And as I carried the snacks and drinks back to the car, I noticed how her eyes lit up at the popcorn and Diet Coke, the simple joys amplifying the magic of the night. And we settled in the back seat, the leather bench surprisingly comfortable, and for a while we just sat close, shoulders touching, hands brushing as we passed drinks and shared bites of popcorn, occasionally laughing at the absurdity of the previews. And I stole glances at her, noticing how her hair caught the soft interior light, how the curve of her smile made my chest tighten, and the way she leaned slightly into me made my stomach flip with warmth. And I complimented her again, softly, on how incredible she looked in the uniform, and she blushed, her fingers brushing against mine as she adjusted the blanket over our laps, and the rum I had poured for myself and shared in moderation with her added a relaxed, giddy energy to the night, letting us laugh louder, speak more freely, teasing one another, sharing inside jokes from our history together, all while the film began to roll on the screen above us, and the action-packed sequences made us both laugh and gasp. But I found myself paying more attention to her expressions than the explosions, her eyes wide in delight, lips parted in amazement, and at one point, our hands found each other, tentatively and then confidently, fingers entwining, and I felt a rush of happiness at the simplicity of that touch, the intimacy of our connection, the thrill of doing something playful and slightly daring but utterly innocent. And I brushed her hair behind her ear again, letting my hand linger, and she leaned into me without a word, resting her head against my shoulder, sighing softly, and the warmth of her closeness filled me with a sense of belonging I had realized I craved so intensely. And I whispered playful remarks about the movie and our high school antics, and she responded with laughter and mock groans, the comfort and joy mixing with an undeniable spark of romance. And after the movie ended, credits rolling on the massive screen, we lingered a moment, just holding each other, savoring the connection, the feeling that the night, her birthday gift to me, the uniform, the car, the simple act of being together, had somehow made the world shrink down to just us. And when we finally got dressed again, our hands brushed as we helped each other, exchanging shy smiles and gentle teasing remarks, and walking back to the car, she leaned her head against me in a way that made me feel protective and adored all at once, and I opened her door with a flourish. She laughed at my antics, and the ride home was filled with quiet conversation, soft music on the radio, and shared glances that said more than words ever could. And when we got home, neither of us wanted the night to end, so we lingered a little longer, holding hands, tracing patterns on the back of each other's hand, whispering sweet nothings, planning future adventures, and promising to remember this night forever, our first truly private, playful, romantic birthday together, the thrill of the uniform, the drive-in, the rum, the laughter, and the warmth of her body next to mine blending into a memory that would always make my heart race with joy. A night where I realized that growing up didn't have to mean losing magic, and that love, the right kind, could be playful, innocent, exciting, and intimate all at once. And as we finally said goodnight, kissing lightly, smiling shyly, and promising more moments like this, I knew that nothing in the world could top the joy I felt sitting there holding her hand, knowing that at 21 I had the perfect birthday, a girlfriend who knew me better than anyone, a night filled with laughter, warmth, romance, and memories we would cherish forever.